for today.
Good morning.
Morning.
So this parsha is filled with drama and big emotions. It starts with Judah pleading to Joseph to free his brother Benjamin, offering himself as a replacement. This evokes Joseph to reveal himself to them and forgive his brothers for throwing him into slavery. Yaakov learns that Joseph is alive and travels with his sons to Egypt. Upon arriving in Egypt and learning of Joseph's position, they are welcomed by the Pharaoh and given permission to live in the land of Goshen. The parsha ends with the famine increasing, and Joseph devises a plan for Egyptians to trade their livestock and land for food, and in turn the Israelites thrive in Egypt. When I read this parsha and imagined being there, all of the emotions that would have been involved in it just simply exhausts me. As I was studying and preparing for this week, I kept coming back to forgiveness. It also made me think about Joseph's ability to forgive and how he thrived in the midst of tribulation and opposition. It also made me ponder, how do we know when we have truly been healed from an offense, a wound, someone that has hurt us? We can look to Joseph for an example on how we know when we are truly healed from an offense. The answer is, when we are in the same position to harm, we should choose to walk in love instead. Ouch. Stepped on my toes. Did it step on any of yours this week? It made me think about the relationships and events in my life, and I thought I had truly healed from, and realized quite quickly I have a lot of work to do. In the previous parsha, we see that the young Joseph matures through trials into a great leader. We read about the complex relationships with his brothers. We read of his righteousness that did not diminish in his hardships, but shined more brightly. We read about Adonai's orchestration of Joseph's rise to power, and of the conflict between these brothers to accomplish his will. Then in this week's parsha, we watch Adonai's will being fulfilled as the heads of the tribes of Israel kneel before Joseph, in whom their hope depends on. Joseph was now a man and in his 30s, and he was not recognized by his brothers. Joseph could have chosen to be cruel, bitter, and hard-hearted, but instead he did not seek revenge. Joseph embraced his brothers. His act of forgiveness did not excuse his brothers' actions. However, his act of forgiveness stopped their actions from destroying his heart. When we have been hurt, we may think we need to even the score. However, what most of us want is to be loved and accepted. Joseph and his brothers each had done a lot of living and a lot of suffering. I believe that each brother had to bear their own torment for whatever part they had in Joseph being sold into slavery. Joseph was not the person he had been many years ago, and neither were his brothers. Adonai cares about our relationships. He cares that we experience healthy, strengthening relationships with one another. I know I have had difficult relationships in my life, and I'm sure many of you do as well. Is there a relationship you are struggling with today? Maybe you are estranged from someone you love. Be encouraged. Adonai is in control. I think that years prior, Joseph made up his mind to choose what happened to him for God's glory. When we have been hurt, we must choose to forgive. We must let go of the pain and let God have his way. Joseph learned to accept things he could not change and change the things that he could. I believe he learned to make a difference despite the hurt, in spite of the pain. From the pit to Potiphar's house, to the prison, to the palace, Joseph chose to thrive. When we have been hurt, we have a choice to either allow that pain to break us or make us or break us. Also, Joseph was a forerunner. Did you get the scriptures up there?
Yes,
I have a couple of scriptures. In Psalms 105:17, he sent a man before them, Joseph, sold as a slave. Joseph endured tribulations. He exceeded in everything he did. Perhaps you are a forerunner. Perhaps, like my family, you're the first to break away from mainstream Christianity and walk in the messianic beliefs, trying your best to be Torah observant. Like Joseph, we are too anointed to thrive and overcome our difficulties. We are anointed to handle those crazy relatives that think we're part of a cult or something crazy. Whatever your tribulation, know that you are anointed to be in that family, to raise those children on the hardest of days, to thrive in a congregation or to succeed at your job. Like Joseph, Adonai has given us the strength to strive in the face of adversity. When we trust in Adonai with our pain, like Joseph, he will cause us to forget about our troubles and will bring fruit out of affliction. Psalms 107:2. Let those redeemed by Adonai say it, those he redeemed from the power of the foe. Has Adonai been good to you? Has he healed your broken heart? Has he brought peace to your relationships? If he has, then testify of his goodness. Remember, Adonai never ends the story without bringing the glory back to him. Shabbat Shalom.
Amen.